Well, hello there, sweet friend, and welcome to the Harbor Breeze Home Podcast. Pull up a cozy chair and sit down beside me as we have a little heart-to-heart today about friends. I'm so glad you're one of mine. I don't know about you, but I like to talk to Jesus all day long. It's okay if you think that's a little weird. It's just who I am. Some people have very formal prayer lives, and I think that's wonderful. But I have an ongoing dialogue with Jesus from the moment I wake up in the morning till I go to bed. I just sort of thought everyone who knows Jesus does that. But I've since been told that that isn't the case. It's just what I do. I talk to him about everything. And one thing we talk about a lot is friends. My sisters were the very best friends I ever had, and wouldn't you know it, I got married and moved thousands of miles away from them. So spontaneous coffee times and shopping trips and long heart-to-hearts in person were out of the question. And I knew right away when I moved up here to Canada that I needed to find myself some good friends. I started praying fervently for friends then, and I haven't stopped. I'm not one of those people that needs a ginormous friend group that's constantly getting together. My personality is one that just needs a few faithful friends, and I'm all good. I must say, God has been faithful to provide the perfect friends for the many different seasons of my life. Some friends have come and gone for various reasons, and I think that tends to be normal. But there are some that have stuck with me through thick and thin, and they still live in the area, and I'm so grateful for them. Decades ago, God brought one such friend into my life. Her age really was irrelevant then, and still is, frankly, but our birth dates inform me that she's over 10 years older than I am. I keep having to remind myself of that because although she's older, she can still run circles around me. She came into my life when I was desperately looking for a friend. The friendship grew so naturally, and after all these years, we're still friends, and she's still teaching me life lesson after life lesson without even realizing it. Our friendship doesn't feel like a sort of awkward mentor-mentee thing. I had a weird experience with that still leaves a bit of a bad feeling when I hear the word mentor. Back when I was a young mom with toddlers running around the house naked after a bath, I had a stranger appear at my door and proudly proclaim, "Yay! I live in the area now and I can't wait to mentor you." When that happened, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up and I wanted to shout back, "Who in the world are you? And what's so wrong with me that you think I need mentoring?" Unlike that awkward experience, my friendship with this particular friend is natural and easy. She freely shares life lessons with me that are born from easy conversation that flies by in a blink and are often punctuated with lots and lots of laughing. One of the things that she's taught me is that there are 3 types of friends that we should always have in our life. We should be both learning from them and also building into their lives. Here they are. Number 1, someone younger than you. Find someone who's at the stage of life you've already journeyed through. Encourage them and build relationships so they are free to ask you questions if they need help. For instance, if you're a mom, find a fellow mom who's at the stage that you were in 10 or 5 or more years ago. Compliment her for what a great job she's doing. And side note, I have a little rant in this department. Please don't be the older lady that is the "just you wait" woman. You might have met them yourself. They're the ones that come up to exhausted moms that can hardly find time to brush their teeth and say, "If you think this stage of parenting is bad, just you wait until the next stage of parenting comes. It's worse." After encountering numerous "just you wait" older parents as young parents ourselves, my husband and I vowed to never say that to any young parent. Instead, we wanted to encourage them to focus on the precious parts of each stage of their child's development. We figured if you approached each stage expecting it to be horrible, chances are it just might be. So our game plan was to expect each upcoming stage to be wonderful and work towards making that a reality. As I think about this concept, I remember distinctly sitting at the graduation ceremony of our first son and feeling emotional about this new stage of parenting we were just about to enter into. I could feel the start of the empty nest coming, and knowing our family dynamic would be changing dramatically, I was feeling a bit sad. But I did smile to myself, thinking back to when I was so absolutely exhausted with little babies and wondering if I would actually survive the fatigue until they would graduate one day. I was cheering myself up by telling myself, "Yay, you made it to graduation." And not even 15 minutes later, I kid you not, a woman came up to me and said, "Just you wait. Once the kids graduate from high school, the hardest part of parenting begins." I almost laughed right out loud. Those just you wait women are very determined. Number 2, the second friend my friend told me to look for is a peer friend. Find someone who is approximately the same age as you are and going through the same issues and challenges you are facing. It will be such a help to both of you as you listen and support and process in real time what's happening in your worlds. It was absolutely life-changing for me as a new mom to finally find a group of other moms who were in the same stage of life that I was. I learned so much from them as we chatted about what was happening and how to handle the challenges of family life. Number 3, the third type of friend you need to be learning from and building into is an older friend. As I get older myself, I'm finding this older age group demographic is becoming more and more precious to me. Since I've already lost both my mom and dad, I find I long to learn from individuals who are at the age of my parents that they would be if they were still alive. I want to hear their stories and words of wisdom so that I can take steps to grow older graciously and learn from them. And yes, I do need to pick carefully whose voices I listen to. After a particularly horrifying experience with some older ladies in our church many, many years ago, I came home rattled by their behavior. It shook me up so badly that I expressed to my husband this concern. Is it inevitable that I will grow up to be a cranky old woman? What do I do to prevent that from happening? I'll never forget his answer. Well, if you don't want to be a cranky old lady, don't be a cranky young one. We laughed, but I found that to be a pivotal moment in my life. I realized I need to be practicing kindness and care at any age and be on the lookout for any cranky old lady tendencies. And as a side note, I do find it interesting now that I've hit menopause to realize how many changes happen in our bodies that aren't talked about very much. And 30 years ago, they were talked about even less. Hormones can't be used as an excuse for horrible, unkind behavior. But I do see that there certainly may be a correlation to age and bad moods when you hear the wild things that are happening with our hormones. So that's one of the things I'm trying to learn more about from the ladies that are ahead of me in this menopause journey. My husband works with the older folks at our church, and he just loves spending time with them. We found that older people can often be lonely, and they sometimes feel their purpose in life is slim. So reaching out to them in friendship is such an encouragement in their direction as well. You'll both benefit greatly from your friendships. And as we all age, we need to keep on making and being friends so that someday we don't find ourselves all alone with no one to talk to. I'm going to interrupt this episode to tell you about a super special gift idea that just might be perfect for a special friend in your life. Lisa Leonard Designs makes customizable jewelry that I just love. I have a necklace arriving soon with my little grandbaby girl's name on it, and I can't wait to wear it. Lisa Leonard Designs includes jewelry pieces like necklaces, rings, bracelets, and so much more that can be inscribed with whatever you want it to say. They would make a marvelous and special gift for someone you love. Click on the link in the show notes to head to see all her amazing creations. Okay, now back to the show. Now, since I've been talking about my friend who has been teaching me life lessons for many years, I thought it would be fun today to share with you something I just learned from her recently. She forwarded me an email a few weeks ago that someone had written that was titled, "What to Do in Your 50s." She said, "I thought you might like this," and I did, in fact, love reading it. One thing on that list said, Write down life lessons you'd like to leave for your kids and don't overthink it. I thought that was a great idea and you might like to do it too. Of course, I did spend a few days overthinking it. But then I sat down with a simple piece of lined paper and a mechanical pencil and wrote down the first 10 things I could think of. I'll tuck it into my will so someday our boys will find it. But I thought maybe you'd like to hear what I wrote today too. In the event that any of my kids are actually listening to their mother's podcast, hi boys, they can hear my life lessons to them now. I have the paper in my hand and I'll read it just the way I wrote it. My husband laughs, saying a few of these points are quite a few life lessons in one. But here we go. 10 life lessons to leave my kids, and I'm trying not to overthink this. Number 1, live today with eternity in mind. Number 2, Jesus loves you. He'll never leave you. During the darkest days of your life, cling to those 2 truths with all your might. Number 3, the valley times won't last forever. Always look ahead toward the end of the tunnel. It may start out completely dark, but one day you'll see a pinprick of light. Eventually, it will turn into a complete ray of sunshine. Make wise decisions during the dark times. You may need some good friends to help. And I promise, sunny days will come. Number 4, pursue joy, not happiness. There's a very big difference. Here's a hint. True joy and peace only comes from Jesus. 5, plan wisely for your future. Write a will, avoid credit card debt, get life insurance, be an advocate for your own health. I know I taught you to love sugar. I apologize for that. Try to avoid it as much as possible so you can skip the diabetes family history. 6, the best gift you can give your child is to love his or her mom. 7, get the worst job on your to-do list over early in the day. 8, take care with your appearance. It will make you more productive and add to your self-confidence. I'm turning over the paper now, so it might crinkle in this mic. Number 9, friendships change over time. Some last and some don't. That's okay. But always work on having a good friend at every stage and age of life. Number 10, as you get older, it's hard to have peers and older people you love pass away. It always hurts your heart and makes you grateful for the hope of heaven. See number 1. This crazy world is always changing, but God doesn't. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Hallelujah for that. If you're reading this after I'm gone from this earth, know I'll be up in heaven looking for you. You don't need to find me quickly. Please don't. I love you with all my heart. Mom. So that ends today's Harbor Breeze Home Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a beautiful day, and until next time, toodaloo.